ANC leaders in KwaZulu-Natal today will visit Nathi Mthethwa's family in Kwambonambi to offer their condolences. The ambassador and former minister is believed to have plunged to his death at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Paris on Monday after being reported missing. Mthethwa's death is now the subject of a high-level investigation in France, and that's where we will connect with Newzroom Afrika correspondent Simon Mark. Simon, good morning. Theories abound about what happened. Factually, at this hour now, what other details have come to light?
Well, factually, with regard to the investigation into the death of Ambassador Mthethwa, there is absolutely no indication here that the investigating authorities, the police and the prosecutor who is overseeing this case here in Paris have any doubt about the fact that this was Ambassador Mthethwa tragically choosing to take his own life. There is no indication from any of the statements that have been issued so far that they have found any reason to believe foul play may have been involved. They have ruled out the involvement of either narcotics or medicine in that 22-story plunge that Ambassador Mthethwa took sometime between Monday night and Tuesday morning when his body was found by a security guard at the Hyatt Hotel here in Paris. There's been very little sign at this hotel of investigations continuing. We didn't see any police entering the hotel yesterday. There may well be further visits to the hotel as the investigating authorities seek final clarity on what occurred. And that word clarity about what took place appears in a family statement that was issued last night by Dr. Sfiso Buthelezi, the former Deputy Finance Minister. He, of course, is the brother of Philisizwe Buthelezi, Ambassador Mthethwa's wife, who is here in Paris, and Dr. Buthelezi is travelling to Paris. We think he's arriving here this morning to offer support to his sister as she prepares to repatriate her late husband's body back to South Africa. In that statement, the family says that the passing of our beloved Nathi, a devoted husband, father, brother and the South African ambassador to Paris, has left a void beyond words, but they thank South Africans for their messages of condolence that have brought comfort in our grief, reminding us that we are not alone. They say they're especially thankful to the government for the support that they're receiving from the president on down. They also say that they are currently awaiting further clarity. They don't say about what, but they say as we await further clarity, we take solace in the unity and compassion shown by South Africans from all walks of life. Once formal processes are complete, they say, we will work closely with Durko to bring Nathi home for a memorial and funeral worthy of his legacy. Now, we don't know exactly when those processes are going to be complete. There were some suggestions yesterday that they might be wrapped up by the end of the week. Other suggestions are floating that the repatriation of Ambassador Mthethwa's body may not take place until Monday. Certainly, funeral services are being provided by Siboleto Funeral Services. They're going to be involved in bringing Ambassador Mthethwa's body home. And again, we assume that family members will be accompanying him on that final journey back to South Africa. But as far as the investigation is concerned, Iman, absolutely no indication by the French authorities that they have any reason to believe that this was not a decision, as the ambassador appears to have communicated to his wife before his death occurred. This was a decision by him to take his own life.
That scenario is not being bought at all, Simon, by his family. We interviewed his family in Kwambonambi at the family's home in KwaZulu-Natal. News reports also this morning carrying other interviews with family members who say that he was a brave man, somebody who during apartheid even endured torture, was willing and would have been willing to answer any questions that would have been answered or asked of him. And so there is, in their minds at least, questions that still have to be answered insofar as the moments before his death. And I guess I wonder how that stacks up against the investigation that you're saying doesn't seem to be continuing with a declaration that this was indeed a man who chose to take his own life.
Well, it's going to complicate that investigation in the sense that the investigating authorities here are going to need to spend time reaching a final conclusion. They have not reached that conclusion yet. And in order to do that, they may need to ask some complicated questions of the family and of the South African authorities more broadly. And one of the key questions that has not been answered is whether in the days leading up to his death, Ambassador Mthethwa received any kind of formal indication that he was going to be called to testify at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, or even an informal advance warning that that invitation may be coming, especially possible after his name was mentioned in testimony at the Commission of Inquiry and allegations were made against him about his conduct when he was police minister in the government of former President Jacob Zuma. Now, the Commission of Inquiry yesterday said they would not comment on whether any formal invitation had been issued to Ambassador Mthethwa. They said they simply wanted publicly to express their condolences to all of the ambassador's family members and his many friends in South Africa. But that question will be a critical question in trying to determine his frame of mind. They're also going to be looking, of course, have already looked, as far as we know, at the text messages that the ambassador reportedly sent to his wife, Philisizwe Buthelezi Mthethwa, indicating that he wanted to express apologies to her, and according to reports here, indicating that he intended to take his own life. It was apparently those text messages that sparked the investigation into the ambassador's disappearance. It was only several hours after that that a security guard here at the Hyatt Hotel found his body. So all of these questions are going to need to be answered if the formal processes that are taking place here are going to be concluded to everyone's satisfaction, and then the French authorities give the go-ahead for the ambassador's body to be repatriated to South Africa. So the timeline for all of that, I think, remains in doubt as questions from South Africa are asked. Family members are still arriving here in Paris, and we've not heard yet, other than that family statement in France, from the ambassador's widow, who clearly has had an extremely traumatic several days in the French capital, a city with which she is very familiar, and that both she and her husband had a deep and abiding connection with.
Simon Marks, thank you for that latest update, and we'll continue to watch the story, and when developments come to hand, we will share them with you, our viewers.